A legacy of faith, early Christian influence in India. Christianity's presence in India predates many European nations. The Apostle Thomas, one of Jesus' disciples, is believed to have arrived in Kerala in 52 AD. This early arrival led to the formation of the St. Thomas Christian community, one of the oldest Christian communities in the world. Portuguese missionaries arrived in the 15th century, aiming to spread Catholicism, particularly in Goa. British colonialism marked a turning point. Protestant denominations, including Baptists, Anglicans, and Presbyterians, began establishing missions. These missions focused not just on religious conversion, but also on education and social reform. Schools, hospitals, and printing presses were established, leaving a lasting impact on Indian society. The arrival of missionaries from different countries and denominations led to a diverse Christian landscape in India. Catholicism remains prominent in Goa and parts of South India. Protestantism found fertile ground in the northeast and certain regions of the north. The power of the purse, foreign funding, and its implications. Christian missionary work in India relies heavily on foreign funding. Organizations and individuals from the United States, Europe, and other countries contribute significant sums to support these activities. This funding allows missions to operate schools, hospitals, and social welfare programs. While these services undoubtedly benefit many Indians, critics argue that they are often used as a tool for conversion. The allure of education, healthcare, and economic opportunities can influence individuals to convert, particularly those from impoverished backgrounds. This practice raises ethical concerns about whether genuine religious choice is being exercised. The Indian government has implemented regulations like the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, or FCRA, to monitor and restrict foreign funding to NGOs, including religious organizations. This scrutiny aims to prevent misuse of funds and potential foreign interference in domestic affairs. The debate surrounding foreign funding highlights the complex intersection of religion, economics, and national sovereignty. While financial support from abroad can contribute to social good, it also raises questions about accountability, transparency, and potential undue influence. Winning hearts and minds conversion tactics employed by missionaries. Christian missionaries employ a range of strategies to attract converts in India. These tactics often intertwine religious teachings with social services, cultural adaptation, and emotional appeals. Understanding these methods is crucial to comprehending the dynamics of conversion in the Indian context. One prevalent approach is the provision of social services. Missionary organizations establish schools, hospitals, and vocational training centers, particularly in underserved communities. These institutions not only cater to basic needs, but also expose individuals to Christian values and teachings. Cultural engagement constitutes another significant element. Missionaries often incorporate local customs, languages, and traditions into their religious practices. This adaptation seeks to make Christianity more relatable and appealing to potential converts familiar with indigenous beliefs and rituals. Emotional appeals also play a role. Missionary gatherings frequently feature testimonies of individuals who claim to have experienced miraculous healings or transformations through their conversion. These narratives, often imbued with emotional intensity, can resonate with individuals seeking spiritual solace or solutions to personal problems. Seeds of change. The impact on Punjab's religious landscape. Punjab, the land of 5 rivers, is predominantly known for its Sikh majority. However, recent decades have witnessed a notable rise in Christian conversions, particularly among marginalized communities. This shift in the religious landscape can be attributed in part to the active presence of Christian missionaries. Missionaries have been drawn to Punjab's impoverished regions, offering education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. These incentives have proven particularly appealing to Dalits, who often face social discrimination and economic hardship. Conversion to Christianity is sometimes perceived as a path to social mobility and escape from caste-based inequalities. The influx of Christian converts has led to tensions within Punjabi society. Traditional Sikh and Hindu communities view these conversions with suspicion, alleging that missionaries employ coercive tactics. The use of material inducements as a means of conversion has further fueled these concerns. The changing religious demographics in Punjab reflect a broader trend of social transformation. Factors such as globalization, urbanization, and the pursuit of economic advancement have contributed to a sense of flux and a search for new identities. Christianity, with its promise of spiritual salvation and social upliftment, has emerged as an attractive option for some segments of Punjabi society. Section 5, God's Own Country. Kerala's unique relationship with Christianity. Kerala stands out as a state with a long and unique relationship with Christianity. The arrival of St. Thomas the Apostle in the 1st century AD laid the foundation for one of the oldest Christian communities in the world. This ancient lineage has shaped Kerala's social fabric and religious landscape. Unlike other parts of India where Christianity arrived with European colonialism, Kerala's Christian community predates Western influence. This historical context has fostered a sense of indigenous identity among Kerala's Christians, who often view themselves as integral to the state's cultural heritage. Kerala's Christian community is not monolithic. Catholicism, introduced by Portuguese missionaries, holds a significant presence, particularly in coastal areas. Protestant denomination, introduced later by British missionaries, have also gained a foothold. This diversity within Christianity has contributed to Kerala's vibrant and pluralistic society. The legacy of Christian missionaries in Kerala extends beyond religious conversion. Missionary-established educational institutions have played a pivotal role in promoting literacy and social progress. Healthcare initiatives undertaken by Christian organizations have also contributed to Kerala's impressive health indicators. Section 6, Echoes in the Hills, the Northeastern States' Christian Identity. The northeastern states of India present a distinct case study in the impact of Christian missionaries. States like Nagaland, Mizoram, and Meghalaya boast significant Christian majorities, a stark contrast to the rest of India. This religious dominance can be attributed to the concerted efforts of missionaries during the colonial and post-colonial eras. British colonialism in the 19th century opened the doors for widespread missionary activity in the northeast. The region's remoteness and the diversity of indigenous tribal communities provided fertile ground for conversion. Missionaries often encountered less resistance from tribal populations who had their own distinct belief systems. The conversion of tribal communities to Christianity was not merely a matter of religious doctrine. It often involved a complex interplay of social, cultural, and political factors. Christianity, with its emphasis on equality and brotherhood, resonated with tribal communities seeking to resist oppressive social structures. The legacy of missionary work is evident in the socio-cultural landscape of the Northeast. Christian institutions dominate the education and healthcare sectors. Western music, attire, and cultural practices have become intertwined with indigenous traditions, creating a unique blend of influences. Section 7, Conversion or Coercion, Controversies and Accusations. The presence of Christian missionaries in India has not been without its share of controversies. Accusations of forced conversions, particularly targeting lower castes and tribal communities, have fueled tensions and triggered violence in certain regions. Critics argue that missionaries exploit the vulnerability of impoverished and marginalized communities. The lure of education, healthcare, and economic opportunities can be a powerful incentive for conversion, particularly for individuals facing social discrimination and economic hardship. Instances of violence against Christians, often fueled by allegations of forced conversions, have been reported in various parts of India. Churches have been vandalized, pastors attacked, and Christian communities targeted in acts of intimidation. These incidents highlight the fragility of religious harmony in certain regions. The Indian government has responded to these concerns by enacting anti-conversion laws in several states. These laws aim to curb conversions deemed forced or fraudulent, requiring individuals seeking to convert to obtain permission from district authorities. Section 8. The Law and the Gospel, Government Scrutiny and Legal Challenges. The activities of Christian missionaries in India are subject to increasing government scrutiny and legal challenges. The Indian government, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, has adopted a more assertive stance on regulating religious conversions and foreign funding of NGOs, including those affiliated with religious organizations. The Foreign Contribution Regulation Act has been amended to tighten control over foreign funding received by NGOs. These amendments have made it more challenging for organizations, including Christian charities and missionary groups, to receive funds from abroad. Critics argue that these measures are intended to stifle dissent and restrict the activities of organizations critical of the government. Anti-conversion laws, enacted in several states, have further complicated the work of Christian missionaries. These laws, often vaguely worded, criminalize conversions deemed forced or fraudulent. Critics argue that these laws are used to target religious minorities and stifle legitimate religious freedom. The debate surrounding the regulation of religious conversions and foreign funding highlights the tension between competing values in Indian society. While proponents of stricter regulations emphasize the need to protect national interests and prevent social unrest, critics argue that these measures infringe upon fundamental rights guaranteed by the Indian Constitution, including the right to freedom of religion. Section 9, a contested terrain balancing religious freedom and cultural identity. The presence of Christian missionaries in India continues to be a subject of intense debate, reflecting the complex interplay of religion, culture, and politics in the world's largest democracy. As India navigates the challenges of modernity and globalization, the question of how to balance religious freedom with the preservation of cultural identity remains a contentious issue. Advocates for religious freedom argue that individuals should have the right to choose their faith without coercion or undue influence. They contend that missionary activities, when conducted ethically and transparently, can contribute to social upliftment and provide spiritual solace to those seeking it. Conversely, those concerned about cultural preservation express anxieties about what they perceive as aggressive proselytizing and the potential erosion of traditional values and belief systems. They argue that conversions, particularly when incentivized by material benefits, can disrupt social harmony and lead to communal tensions. The Indian government faces the delicate task of upholding constitutional guarantees of religious freedom while addressing concerns about social cohesion and national unity. Striking a balance between these competing imperatives requires a nuanced approach that respects the rights of all citizens while fostering a climate of interfaith dialogue and tolerance.